Hello, I'm Josh Laddick, coming to you from GSA Focus. This is the weekly GSA News video. Today, we'll be talking about the GSA's new plan. It's called the Demand-Based Model, DBM. Let's start out by just going through the history of this and what led to it. It all started with a downturn in the economy. Many companies folded. The ones that didn't fold had to reshift, and a lot of them reshifted and started going after federal business. What this caused was a huge flux in GSA contract offers. Over the last several years, the number of companies seeking schedules has roughly doubled the volume of contract modifications and has roughly it's doubled the volume of contract offers, tripled modifications. So, as a result, the GSA is confronting a serious staffing shortage of qualified contracting officers, and they have been for a good 2 or 3 years now. Under the old GSA administrator, Martha Johnson, major problems started collecting a few years ago. They started collecting in the agency. Nothing was done to address them, nothing was done to fix them. All she seemed to do was just photo ops to inundate the GSA website with pictures of her. I didn't see any solutions to fix these problems. Luckily, the GSA scandal happened and she was ousted. She had to resign, and the new GSA administrator, his name is Dan Tangerlini, he stepped in. I think he's the exact opposite. He's calculated, business-like approach. I think he's going to actually fix the problems. He's the one that actually when he came in is when the demand-based model started to become talked about. So, he started the GSA's plan of salvation. I think Tangerlini's the man for the job. I have a lot of faith in him, just in the little bit that I know about him. Now let's kind of shift gears and start talking about the problem. How it, from there, what started happening. I think Steve Kemp said it best. He's the commissioner of the GSA's Federal Acquisition Service. He said, "The MAS program is perpetually open to qualified new offers. And while vibrant markets exist in some of the schedules, we have reached the point of saturation in others." In plain English, what this means is the GSA is really good, it's really successful, does what it's supposed to, but they're lacking in a lot of areas, and things need to be fixed. So, what's the solution? This demand-based model, the DBM, what it does is, or at least what it's intended to do, is to allow the GSA to align its resources with areas of greatest need. It's a shifting of gears, and it's a trimming of fat, so to speak. In the Federal Register, the GSA released a snippet talking about this first in late July, and right from the text, this is what it says. GSA is proposing this operational change to enhance the performance of and modernize the MAS program in 3 key program areas. 1, small business viability. 2, operational efficiency. And 3, cost control. I don't know what modernization of the MAS means, but moving on from there, a couple of things have been released since then that are actual tangible things that are going to probably happen. First is that 8,000 contracts are going to be canceled in areas that they call obsolete. So they listed typewriters, trophies, stuff like that. So these are services that are probably still used. They're still bought from the government, but not in great demand, and they're using up more resources than what they're really putting out. So that's one thing. The next thing, and this is a really big one, is the freezing of 5 schedules for 1 to 3 years. This is possibly going to be starting in February of 2012. Those schedules are 871, professional engineering, 736, staffing, 75, office products, 73, food service, and 541, advertising and marketing. This is the ultimate solution that they're trying to achieve is they're going to be allocating the GSA contract professionals to more heavily used schedule areas, and that this is going to hopefully make some headway in getting through this incredible backlog that the GSA has been experiencing. Now, all of this being said, I'm going to now talk about, this is kind of editorializing, but the results that I see happening. I see 3 upsides and 2 downsides. Upside number 1, I think these changes are going to save the GSA a reported $24 million a year in operating expenses. I agree with that. I think that's probably a good number. I think it's manageable. If managed properly also, then the federal buyers are only going to experience a small drop in services from the GSA, and there will be a fresher group of contractors for them to choose from. A lot of federal buyers don't like that the GSA has so much to offer, and it's hard for them to weed out the good contractors from the bad ones. This will probably help that. Upside number 2 is that established contractors within the frozen schedules, they're going to have limited competition for a while. This is going to be probably good for them. These are the companies, the contractors that are really good at what they do, successful in the federal market. They're going to enjoy 1 to 3 years of great business from the government. There's going to be a trimming of fat also, which will also cut out a lot of their competitors. Again, they're going to enjoy a really, really good 1 to 3 years. Upside number 3 is that the low performers, they actually do sap GSA resources, and the agency as a whole, it's probably going to emerge from this in much better shape than it is right now. I've seen doubling and tripling of offer review times just over the past 2 or 3 years. It used to take 3 or 4 months to get a contract acquired. Now it's taking 6 to 9, sometimes a year, sometimes longer than a year to get an offer reviewed, negotiated, and acquired. So I'm looking forward to that ending. Now let's talk about the downsides. Downside number 1, I don't like that Schedule 871 for professional engineering services is on that list of schedules to be frozen. I think the Department of Defense uses that schedule really well. I have a lot of customers that are on it, and they bring a lot of value to the government. This is also an area that where in engineering, things change a lot. Technology is constantly changing, and I think this is going to limit the government's buying ability for engineering services. A lot of good contractors that are going to be bringing a lot of value to the government aren't going to be able to get a GSA contract, and the government's going to have a lot of challenge to buy from them. Ultimately, since the Department of Defense is a big user of Schedule 871, I think this poses national security risks. We're not going to have as good R&D in the Department of Defense. Ultimately, that's a very bad thing. I want to see 871 knocked off the frozen list. The other ones, though, I'm fine with. I think they're all very saturated, and they can stand to have a year or 2 of being frozen, and the federal buyers are going to be fine. Downside number 2 that I see, I think, is just how the GSA is going to manage this huge flux of submissions right before the deadline date. February of 2013, the GSA says they're going to be closing these 5 schedules, freezing them for 1 to 3 years. Every contractor that doesn't have a GSA contract and has been considering it is now going to get very interested. They're going to prepare their offers. They're going to shoot them over to the GSA. Now, there's 2 possibilities. The GSA is either going to just shut the gate and they're going to say, sorry. No more offers are going to be reviewed, and they're just going to kick them back. The other possibility is that they're going to actually let them through and say, you made the deadline, you made the cut, we're going to review your offers. Neither of these are really great scenarios for the GSA or contractors. In the first scenario, these contractors went through a lot of work to get on contract, and the GSA just kicked them back. That's not very fair. In the second scenario, the GSA is going to allow all of these to go through because they made the deadline, and as a result, they're going to just have the same problem that they have now, where they're going to have this huge flux of work to do, and they're going to be even more busy than they are now. That's compounding the problems that they have at the GSA. I think the GSA, just in the verbiage that they released in the Federal Register, is leaning towards clamping and denying any offers before or during that deadline. If it's not done by that deadline, then it's rejected. That's what I think they're leaning towards. This is what they released, and this is what I'm basing my theory on. It is highly likely, this is what the GSA says, it is highly likely that nearly all of these offers will not generate business. I disagree. I think a lot of them are going to add value to the GSA contract, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for tuning in this Friday. I hope you have a great week. Tune in next Friday, where I'll probably be talking about the new SAM system, which is huge. Getting rid of CCR, getting rid of ORCA. What's SAM going to bring to us? Looking forward to seeing you.